She stands in the empty penthouse, glass of wine trembling in her hand. The city glitters below, oblivious, indifferent. Blood on marble. A name she can't forget. The choice that destroyed everything. Some loves don't save you. They bury you alive. And she dug her own grave the moment she let him in. Please like, share and subscribe. The boardroom smells like leather and old money. Giovanna Ricci doesn't sit at the head of the table, she owns it. Black suit, hair pulled back so tight it could cut glass. 10 men twice her age avoid her eyes. The port shipment arrives Thursday, she says. Her voice is silk over razors. Mancini's people have been sniffing around the docks. I want eyes on every crane operator, every union rep. Silence. Then Carmine, her father's oldest lieutenant, clears his throat. With respect, Giovanna. Perhaps we negotiate. Salvatore Mancini isn't. Salvatore Mancini, she interrupts, is a snake who thinks I'm weak because I'm my father's daughter instead of his son. She leans forward. Candlelight catches the scar along her collarbone, barely visible, never forgotten. I don't negotiate with men who mistake patience for weakness. Carmine nods. The others follow. She dismisses them with a gesture. They file out like schoolboys. Alone, Giovanna exhales. Her reflection stares back from the window. 28 years old, raised in blood and silence, taught that love is leverage and trust is suicide. Her phone vibrates. Unknown number. She ignores it. The charity gala is theater. Champagne, false smiles, criminals in tuxedos pretending to be philanthropists. Giovanna moves through the crowd like a shark, graceful, predatory, bored. Miss Ricci. A voice unfamiliar. I've been hoping to meet you. She turns. He's tall. Dark suit, no tie. Eyes like storm clouds, gray, shifting, dangerous. He doesn't smile the way men usually smile at her. There's no fear. No calculation. Just curiosity. And you are, she asks. Antonio Russo. He extends a hand. She doesn't take it. Should I know that name? Probably not. I'm nobody important. But the way he says it, there's weight beneath the words. I'm in acquisitions. Private equity. How profitable? Her tone could freeze oceans. Depends on what you're acquiring. He tilts his head. You look like someone who understands the value of patience. Patience, she repeats. Or control. Aren't they the same thing? He studies him. Most men wilt under her gaze. Antonio holds it, unflinching. Excuse me, she says, turning away. Giovanna. She stops. He used her first name. No title. No deference. I think we'll see each other again, he says. She doesn't answer. But her pulse quickens just slightly. He hates that he noticed. Later that night she sits in her penthouse. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the city. She pours bourbon neat. The ice cracks in the silence. Her second-in-command, Marco, enters without knocking. He's been with her since she was 16. Loyal. Brutal when necessary. Mancini made a move, Marco says. 3 of our warehouses. Inspectors showed up this morning. Anonymous tip. Giovanna's jaw tightens. He's testing boundaries. He's declaring war. Not yet. She swirls her glass. War is loud. This is foreplay. Marco frowns. You want me to respond? No. I want you to find out who his informant is. Someone inside our operation talked. And when I find them, make an example. Her voice doesn't waver. Quiet but clear. Marco nods, leaves. Giovanna stares at the city. Power is a cage. Beautiful. Suffocating. She built this empire on her father's bones, proved herself to men who wanted her to fail. And for what? Nights alone, bourbon for company, trust a luxury she can't afford. Her phone buzzes. Same unknown number. Against her better judgment she answers. Miss Ricci. Antonio's voice, smooth as smoke. I hope I'm not interrupting. How did you get this number? I'm resourceful. Pause. Have dinner with me. No. Why not? Because I don't dine with strangers who think charm is a currency. He laughs, genuine, not mocking. Fair. But I'm not trying to charm you. Then what are you trying to do? Understand you. The honesty disarms her. He hates that. Good night, Mr. Russo. He hangs up. But she doesn't block the number. 2 days later, Antonio appears at her favorite cafe. She's reading contracts, espresso going cold. He sits across from her without asking. Stalking is illegal, she says, not looking up. So is half of what happens in this city. He orders an espresso. Relax. I'm not here to threaten you. Then why are you here? Because you intrigue me. She finally meets his eyes. I'm not a puzzle for you to solve. I disagree. He leans back. You're the most interesting puzzle I've encountered. Flattery won't. It's not flattery. It's observation. His gaze is steady. You run an empire built on fear and loyalty. You've outlasted rivals twice your age. But you're here alone, drinking bad coffee and pretending you don't want company. Her chest tightens. You don't know me. Not yet. She should leave. Stand up, walk away, erase him from her life. Dad, she says, 1 hour. You get 1 hour. Antonio smiles. Not triumphant. Relieved. They talk. He tells her about growing up in Rome, moving to the States at 19, building a business from nothing. She tells him nothing, deflects, redirects, keeps her armor intact. But something shifts. His questions aren't invasive. They're careful. Like he's handling something fragile. Why acquisitions? She asks. Because I like finding value in what others overlook. People aren't businesses. No. But both require understanding what's beneath the surface. He stands. Your hour is up. Same time next week? Don't push your luck, Mr. Russo. But she doesn't say no. That night, Marco reports back. Found the rat, he says. Giulio. Been on Mancini's payroll for 6 months. Giovanna's expression doesn't change. Giulio. Young, ambitious, hungry. She gave him opportunities. He repaid her with betrayal. Where is he? Warehouse on 5th. Waiting for your word. She grabs her coat. I'll handle this myself. Marco hesitates. Giovanna. I said I'll handle it. The warehouse is cold. Giulio kneels on concrete, hands tied, face bruised. He looks up when she enters, fear and defiance warring in his eyes. Giovanna, please, I can explain. Explain what? Her voice echoes. How you sold information to Salvatore Mancini. How you endangered everyone who trusted you. He threatened my family. We all have families, Giulio. She crouches, eye level with him. You think you're the only one Mancini pressures? The difference is loyalty. You chose wrong. Please. Believe. Disappear. You'll never. You're right. I won't. He stands. Marco steps forward with a gun. Giulio's breathing accelerates. Giovanna, please. He turns away. The gunshot cracks through the silence. She returns home, blood on her conscience but not her hands. Strips off her coat, pours bourbon. Her hands are steady. They always are. Her phone rings. Antonio. She shouldn't answer. But she does. Bad time, he asks. Always. Drink with me. Virtually if you prefer. Despite everything, she laughs, short, bitter. Why do you keep calling? Because I think you need someone who isn't afraid of you. Maybe you should be. Maybe. But I'm not. Silence stretches. Then quietly, what are you drinking? Scotch. You. Bourbon. Good choice. They talk for an hour. About nothing. Everything. He doesn't ask about her work. She doesn't ask about his. It's the first conversation she's had in years that doesn't feel like chess. When they hang up, she realizes she's smiling. He hates that. Weeks pass. Antonio becomes a constant. Not intrusive but present. Coffee twice a week. Late night calls. He never pushes. Never demands. Just exists in her orbit, steady and infuriating. Giovanna tells herself it's harmless. A distraction. Nothing more. But Marco notices. This Antonio, he says one morning. Who is he? No one important. You're seeing him regularly. That makes him important. She glares. I don't answer to you, Marco. No. But you answer to the family. And the family notices when their queen gets distracted. I'm not distracted. Aren't you? His tone softens. Giovanna, I've known you since you were a kid. I've never seen you like this. Like what? Vulnerable. The word lands like a slap. She dismisses him without another word. That evening, Antonio invites her to his apartment. She hesitates. Crossing that threshold means something. Acknowledging something. But she goes. His place is minimalist. Clean lines, expensive but understated. Books everywhere. Philosophy, history, fiction. He scans the titles, surprised. Didn't peg you for a reader, she says. There's a lot you don't know about me. Clearly. He pours wine. They sit on opposite ends of the couch, close enough to touch, far enough to retreat. Tell me something real, he says. What? Something true. Not the armor. Not the reputation. You. She sips her wine, buying time. I don't do vulnerability. I'm not asking for vulnerability. I'm asking for honesty. They're the same thing. Are they? She meets his eyes. Gray storms, patient and persistent. I'm tired, she admits. Of being everyone's villain. Of making decisions that keep me awake at night. Of being alone in a crowded room. Antonio doesn't flinch. Doesn't offer hollow comfort. Thank you, he says simply. For what? For telling me the truth. The space between them shrinks. She's not sure who moves first. But suddenly they're inches apart, breathing the same air, and every warning bell in her mind is screaming. He kisses him. It's not gentle. It's desperate, hungry, like drowning and gasping for air simultaneously. His hands find her waist. Hers tangle in his hair. The world narrows to this, heat and want and the terrifying sensation of freefall. When they break apart, her heart is racing. This is a mistake, she whispers. Probably. I should leave. You should. But she doesn't. She kisses him again, and this time she doesn't stop. She wakes at dawn, tangled in unfamiliar sheets. Antonio's arm is draped across her waist. For a moment, one brief, dangerous moment, she lets herself feel safe. Then reality crashes back. She slips out of bed, dresses quietly. He stirs. Leaving already? I have a meeting. Giovanna. She stops at the door, doesn't turn. This doesn't change anything, she says. Doesn't it? She leaves without answering. The next week is chaos. Mancini escalates. More inspections, more pressure on her suppliers, whispers that he's courting her lieutenants. Giovanna responds with precision, cutting off his revenue streams, buying out his allies, making it clear that challenging her has consequences. But her focus is fractured. Antonio's texts go unanswered. His calls ignored. Marco confronts her. You're slipping, he says bluntly. Mancini senses it. The family senses it. What's going on? Nothing. Bullshit. You've been distracted for weeks. And now I'm hearing rumors. What rumors? That you're involved with someone. That it's affecting your judgment. Her blood goes cold. Who's saying this? Does it matter? Giovanna, if Mancini finds out, he'll use it against you. You know he will. He does know. Love is leverage. Attachment is a weapon. She's violated the first rule her father taught her. Handle Mancini, she says. I'll handle the rest. She meets Antonio at a rooftop bar. Rain threatens but hasn't fallen yet. He's waiting, patient as always. You've been avoiding me, he says. I've been busy. Liar. She flinches. Antonio. Whatever this is, Giovanna, it's real. I know you feel it. That's the problem. Her voice cracks just slightly. I can't afford real. Real gets people killed. What are you talking about? She looks away. The city sprawls below, indifferent to their drama. You don't understand the world I live in. Affection is ammunition. Love is a liability. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's the truth. Then change it. I can't. She meets his eyes, and there's genuine pain there. I won't drag you into this. You deserve better than. Don't. His voice is sharp. Don't make decisions for me. I'm a grown man, Giovanna. I know the risks. You have no idea. Then tell me. Stop hiding behind this armor and tell me what you're so afraid of. The rain starts. Soft at first, then heavier. Neither of them moves. I ordered a hit last month, she says quietly. On a man who betrayed me. I didn't pull the trigger, but I gave the order. He had a family. Kids. And I didn't hesitate. Antonio's expression doesn't change. And that's who I am. That's the world I inhabit. blood and power and impossible choices. I'm not asking you to be anyone else. You should be. But I'm not. She's crying now, rain mixing with tears. She doesn't cry. Ever. But something about Antonio strips away every defense. He steps closer. Takes her face in his hands. I see you, he says. Not the queen. Not the reputation. And I'm not afraid. She kisses him, desperate, broken, clinging to the only honest thing in her life. The next morning everything changes. Marco calls her at 6 a.m. We have a problem. Define problem. Mancini knows about Antonio. Her world tilts. How? Photos. You two at the cafe. The rooftop. His apartment. Marco's voice is grim. Someone's been following you. Who? Working on it. But Giovanna, Mancini's moving. He's using this. She's already dressed, already moving. I'm on my way. The war room is tense. Her inner circle, 5 men she trusts with her life, looks grave. Marco spreads photos across the table. Giovanna and Antonio, intimate moments captured and weaponized. Her stomach turns. Mancini sent these this morning, Carmine says. Along with a message, even queens have weaknesses. He's going after Antonio, Marco says. Using him as leverage. Either you step aside, let Mancini expand into your territory, or Antonio dies. She finishes the sentence, voice hollow. Silence. What do you want to do? Marco asks carefully. Giovanna stares at the photos. Antonio's smile. Her rare, unguarded expression. Evidence of the one thing she swore she'd never allow, vulnerability. I want, she says slowly, to burn Salvatore Mancini's world to the ground. He calls Antonio. Don't leave your apartment. Giovanna? What's? I don't have time to explain. Trust me. Don't leave. Don't answer the door for anyone but me. You're scaring me. Good. Be scared. It means you're smart. She hangs up, turns to Marco. Put a team on his building. 4 men rotating shifts. Mancini doesn't get within a block. And the retaliation? I'm handling it personally. Giovanna hasn't met with Salvatore Mancini in 3 years. Not since he suggested over dinner that she'd make an excellent wife for his nephew. She'd smiled, thanked him for the wine, and bought out his primary investor the next week. Now she walks into his restaurant like she owns it. Because in 6 months she will. Salvatore is older. Silver hair, expensive suit, eyes like a snake evaluating prey. He stands when she approaches. Giovanna. What an unexpected pleasure. Cut the bullshit, Salvatore. He gestures to a chair. She remains standing. You made a move against someone under my protection, she says. I'm here to give you one chance to walk it back. Protection. He laughs. Since when does Giovanna Ricci protect civilians? Since now. Ah. Understanding dawns. This is about your little boyfriend. Antonio Russo. Handsome man. Shame about his past. Her pulse spikes. What past? You don't know. Salvatore's smile widens. How delicious. Perhaps you should ask him about his real name. Or his real reason for being in this city. You're lying. Am I? He slides a folder across the table. Do your homework, Giovanna. Your boyfriend isn't who he claims to be. She wants to leave the folder. Walk away. But curiosity or dread makes her grab it. Stay away from him, she says. Or I will rain hell on everything you've built. Empty threats from a lovesick girl. Try me. She leaves, folder burning in her hands. In her car she opens the folder. The world stops. Antonio Russo. Real name Antonio Carrera. Former Interpol investigator. Undercover. Embedded in organized crime networks for 7 years. Target, Giovanna Ricci. The pages blur. Photos of him with other agents. Reports. Surveillance logs dating back months before they met. Everything, the cafe, the calls, the vulnerability, was a lie. She's going to be sick. Marco's driving. Giovanna? What is it? She hands him the folder, can't speak. He reads, face darkening. That son of a... Take me to his apartment. Giovanna, wait, think about this. Now, Marco. She storms into Antonio's building, past her own guards, and pounds on his door. He opens it, concern flooding his face. Giovanna, thank God. She shoves past him, throws the folder at his chest. Who are you? He glances at the documents. All color drains from his face. Giovanna. Don't say my name. Don't pretend. Just answer. Who the fuck are you? Antonio closes his eyes. Antonio Carrera. Interpol. The confirmation shatters something in her chest. This whole time, she whispers. Everything was fake. Not everything. Was any of it real? Her voice breaks. The conversations. The rooftop. This morning when you said you weren't afraid. That was real. Liar. I fell in love with you. He shouts it raw and desperate. It wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. Giovanna, I know I betrayed you, but what I feel, that's real. She laughs bitterly. You're under arrest, I assume? That's the endgame? Get close, gather evidence, destroy me. It was. But I'm not doing it. Why should I believe anything you say? Because I burned my career for you. He grabs a phone from the counter, shows her. Emails to his superiors. Resignation. I quit. This morning. Told them I couldn't complete the mission. They threatened me, Giovanna. Said I'd be prosecuted for obstruction. I don't care. I chose you. He wants to believe him. Every fiber of her being wants to believe him. But trust once broken is glass. You can piece it together, but the cracks remain. Get out, she says quietly. Giovanna. Get out of this city. Tonight. If you're still here by morning, I'll assume you're still working for Interpol. And I'll handle you accordingly. You don't mean that. She meets his eyes, gray storms she'll never trust again. Try me. She walks out, each step agony, and doesn't look back. Marco finds her on the penthouse balcony, staring at nothing. He's gone, Marco reports. Left the city an hour ago. She nods, doesn't speak. Giovanna. I'm sorry. Don't be. I knew better. Love is leverage. I forgot my own rules. You're human. I can't afford to be. Marco hesitates. Mancini's still a threat. He knows you're vulnerable now. Then we remind him why vulnerability and weakness aren't the same thing. She turns and Marco sees it. The woman who ordered Giulio's execution. Calculated. The Queen fully armored again. What do you need? He asks. Everything we have on Mancini. Financial records, shell companies, mistresses, illegitimate children. Every secret he's buried. Giovanna. He came after someone she stops herself. He made this personal. So we end this. Permanently. The war is methodical. Giovanna dismantles Mancini's empire piece by piece. Exposes his money laundering to federal authorities. Leaks evidence of his involvement in 3 unsolved murders. Buys out his allies, threatens his suppliers, systematically destroys everything he's built. Within 3 weeks, Salvatore Mancini is arrested. Federal charges. Life in prison, no parole. Giovanna watches the news coverage from her penthouse, bourbon in hand. Victory tastes like ash. Marco enters. It's done. Mancini's finished. Good. The family's impressed. They're calling you untouchable. Wonderful. He sits beside her. You won, Giovanna. Did I? Silence. Do you regret it? Marco asks quietly. Sending him away? She doesn't answer immediately. Outside, the city glitters. Indifferent, eternal. Every day, she finally says. But I'd make the same choice. Love makes you vulnerable. Vulnerability gets you killed. I can live with regret. I can't live with being weak. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's the truth. 6 months later. Giovanna's empire is stronger than ever. No rivals dare challenge her. The family treats her with reverence bordering on fear. She's untouchable. And completely alone. Late one night her phone rings. Unknown number. She almost ignores it. But something makes her answer. Giovanna. Antonio's voice, and her world tilts. How did you? I'm at the cafe. Okay. I know you said to leave. I did. But I can't stay away. I tried. God, I tried. But I love you. And I think, maybe you love me too. Her hand trembles. This is a mistake. Probably. But I'm here. And I'll wait. 1 hour. If you don't come, I'll disappear forever. But if there's any chance, any at all, please. Just come. He hangs up. Giovanna sits in the dark, phone pressed to her chest, heart racing. Marco appears in the doorway. Who was that? No one. But he knows. He always knows. What are you going to do? He asks. The smart thing. Ignore it. Move on. And the other thing? She stands, grabs her coat. Tell the guards I'm going out. Giovanna. I know it's stupid, Marco. I know it's dangerous. But I spent 6 months being smart. Being safe. And I'm miserable. He betrayed you. He did. And maybe he will again. But at least I'll have tried. At least I'll have chosen something other than fear. She's halfway to the elevator when Marco calls out. For what it's worth? I hope he's there. She doesn't answer. But she's already running. The cafe is nearly empty. Antonio sits at their table, 2 espressos cooling in front of him. He looks up when she enters, hope and terror warring in his eyes. She crosses the room, doesn't sit. If you ever lie to me again, she says, voice shaking, I will destroy you. Not out of revenge. Not out of anger. But because I can't survive another betrayal. I understand. If you're still working for Interpol, if this is another game. It's not. I swear on everything I have, Giovanna. I'm just a man who fell in love with the wrong woman. The wrong woman? The right woman. The only woman. He sits finally. Reaches across the table. He takes her hand, tentative, like holding something precious and fragile. This won't be easy, she says. I know. My world is violent. Dangerous. You'll be a target. I know. You could die. I know. He squeezes her hand. But I'd rather live dangerously with you than safely without you. He laughs, broken, relieved, terrified. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Probably. But it's true. They sit in silence, hands intertwined, the city moving around them. Oblivious, indifferent, eternal. Giovanna doesn't know if this will work. Doesn't know if love can survive in her world of blood and power. Doesn't know if Antonio will keep his promises or if she'll regret this choice. But for the first time in 6 months she feels something other than emptiness. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. She stands in the penthouse, weeks later, Antonio sleeping in her bed. The city glitters below. No blood on the marble. His name no longer forbidden. The choice that could destroy everything, or save it. Some loves don't save you. They challenge you, break you, rebuild you. And she chose this. Chose him. Chose the terrifying possibility of something real. Was it love, she wonders, or just another kind of control? The need to possess something that couldn't be owned? The illusion of connection in a world built on isolation? She doesn't have answers. Only questions. And the man sleeping behind her, breathing steady and unaware. The city glitters. Indifferent. Eternal. And Giovanna Ricci, Mafia Queen, allows herself one more dangerous thought. Maybe vulnerability isn't weakness after all. Maybe it's the only honest kind of strength. Can love exist without trust? Can power coexist with vulnerability? Or are they forever at war, and she's chosen a battlefield instead of peace? 3 weeks after the cafe reunion, Antonio moves into the penthouse. Not officially. Not permanently. But his clothes appear in her closet. His coffee mug sits by the sink. His presence fills spaces she didn't know were empty. Giovanna wakes before dawn, watches him sleep. Vulnerable. Trusting. Everything she spent her life avoiding. Her phone buzzes. Marco, we need to talk. No. She slips out of bed, dresses silently. Antonio stirs. Where are you going? Work. Go back to sleep. Giovanna. He sits up, concern etched across his face. You've been leaving early every morning this week. What's going on? Nothing you need to worry about. That's not how this works. His voice is firm. We agreed, no more secrets. She meets his eyes. Gray storms, insistent and afraid. There are things in my world you're better off not knowing. That's a secret, Giovanna. It's protection. It's a lie. The words hit like bullets. She grabs her coat, needs distance. I'll be back in a few hours. Will you? He doesn't sound angry. Just tired. Or will you keep running every time things get real? She leaves without answering. Because he's right. And she hates him for it. Marco waits in a black SUV outside. His expression tells her everything before he speaks. Interpol didn't accept Antonio's resignation, he says. They're pursuing obstruction charges. And they've opened a full investigation into you. Because of him. Her blood goes cold. How bad? Bad. They have surveillance from his time undercover. Conversations, meetings, transactions. They're building a RICO case. Antonio gave them that information? Before he quit, yes. But Giovanna, Marco hesitates. There's more. His former partner contacted me. Agent named Sofia Delgado. She wants to meet. Why would she contact you? She claims she has information that could help. About Antonio's real mission. She says what we know isn't the whole story. Giovanna's head spins. This could be a trap. Probably is. But what if it's not? He stares out the window. The city wakes slowly, innocent, oblivious to the wars fought in its shadows. Set up the meeting, she says. But I go armed and you stay close. Agent Sofia Delgado is everything Giovanna expected. Tailored suit, calculating eyes, the controlled posture of someone trained to read people. They meet in a public park, neutral ground, witnesses everywhere. Miss Ricci. Sofia extends a hand. Giovanna doesn't take it. You have information. Talk. Sofia doesn't flinch. Antonio Carrera was my partner for 4 years. Best investigator I've ever worked with. Until you. Flattering. Get to the point. He didn't resign because he fell in love with you. He resigned because he discovered something that would have destroyed you, and he buried it. Giovanna's pulse quickens. What are you talking about? Sofia pulls out a tablet, shows her classified files. Bank records. Shell companies. Money trails. Your father, Sofia says carefully, didn't just run organized crime. He was working with foreign intelligence. Selling classified information, facilitating weapons deals, trafficking, things that go beyond typical mafia operations. I know what my father did. Do you? Because Antonio found evidence that you're listed as a co-conspirator in 17 federal indictments. Transactions you allegedly approved, meetings you allegedly attended. The evidence is concrete, Giovanna. And it's enough to put you away for life. The world tilts. I wasn't involved in any of that. I believe you. Antonio believed you. That's why he buried it. Giovanna's mind races. Why are you telling me this? Because the evidence is resurfacing. Someone inside Interpol is leaking it to the media. In 72 hours, your face will be on every news station in the country. And when that happens, we won't be able to protect you. We. Antonio and me. He asked me to warn you. To give you a head start. Where is he? In Interpol custody. They arrested him yesterday for obstruction and evidence tampering. He's looking at 20 years, Giovanna. Maybe more. And he won't cooperate. Won't give them anything that could hurt you. Giovanna can't breathe. Why would he do that? Sofia's expression softens just slightly. Because he loves you. Stupidly, dangerously, against every rule we were taught. He loves you. Giovanna returns to the penthouse in a daze. Antonio's coffee mug still sits by the sink. His book lies open on the couch, page marked with a receipt. Evidence of a life they were building. Now shattered. Marco follows her inside. What do you want to do? I need to think. We don't have time to think. 72 hours, Giovanna. You need to disappear. New identity, new country. I have contacts. I'm not running. Then what? You can't fight federal indictments. You can't. I can expose the truth. Her voice is steel. My father kept records. Everything. Every deal, every contact, every transaction. If someone's framing me, those records will prove it. Where are these records? A safety deposit box. In Rome. Only I have access. Marco's eyes widen. Rome? Giovanna, you'd have to leave the country, and if you're tagged as a flight risk. Then I leave tonight. Before they can stop me. And Antonio? She closes her eyes. Antonio sitting in a cell protecting her with his silence. Antonio who betrayed her and saved her and destroyed them both. I'll deal with Antonio after I clear my name. But the words taste like ash. 12 hours later, Giovanna lands in Rome. The city of her childhood, her father's empire, ghosts she thought she'd buried. She goes straight to the bank. Uses codes her father taught her before he died, passwords only she knows. The safety deposit box opens. Inside, USB drives, ledgers, photographs. Evidence of everything her father built, and everyone he destroyed. She sorts through it methodically. Finds what she needs. Proof that the transactions attributed to her were authorized by her father years before she took control. Forged signatures. Fabricated emails. Someone went to extraordinary lengths to frame her. But who? Then she sees it. A photograph. Her father with another man. Younger, ambitious, hungry. Salvatore Mancini. Before he was her rival. When he was her father's protégé. Understanding crashes over her. Mancini didn't just want her territory. He wanted revenge. For being passed over when her father chose her as his successor instead of him. This entire setup, Antonio's investigation, the leaked evidence, the federal indictments, was Mancini's final move. Even from prison he's orchestrating her destruction. She photographs everything. Uploads it to encrypted servers. Sends copies to Sofia Delgado with a simple message. This is the truth. Use it. Then she calls Marco. I have the evidence. But there's a problem. Mancini's behind everything. And if he's coordinating this from prison, he has help. Someone on the inside. Interpol. Or higher. Marco, I need you to find out who's leaking the information to the media. Follow the money. Find the connection. On it. What about you? I'm coming home. And I'm finishing this. Permanently. She doesn't make it to the airport. 3 men intercept her car 2 blocks from the hotel. Professional. Armed. Not Interpol. Her driver, one of Marco's best, reacts instantly. Swerves, accelerates. Gunfire shatters the rear window. Giovanna ducks, adrenaline screaming through her veins. Hold on, her driver shouts. The chase is brutal. Through narrow Roman streets, pedestrians scattering, bullets ricocheting off stone buildings centuries old. Her driver is skilled, but they're outnumbered. A tire explodes. The car spins, crashes into a fountain. Water sprays through broken windows. Giovanna's head slams against the seat. Vision blurs. Blood runs down her temple. The driver's unconscious. Maybe dead. She grabs her gun, kicks open the door. Stumbles out. 3 men advancing, weapons raised. She fires. Drops one. Then another. The third tackles her before she can aim. They hit the cobblestones hard. Her gun skitters away. He's bigger. Stronger. Trained. But she's desperate. She fights dirty. Claws his eyes. Drives her knee into his groin. When he loosens his grip, she grabs a chunk of broken fountain stone and brings it down on his skull. He collapses. Giovanna stands, shaking, bleeding, surrounded by bodies and chaos. Sirens wail in the distance. She runs. She makes it to a safe house, an apartment her father maintained for emergencies. Cleans her wounds, changes clothes, tries to think. Her phone rings. Unknown number. She answers. Giovanna Ricci. The voice is distorted, electronic. You're proving more resilient than anticipated. Who is this? Someone who's been watching you for a very long time. Someone who knows every move you make before you make it. Mancini. A laugh. Salvatore is a tool. Useful but expendable. This is bigger than him. Bigger than you. What do you want? I want you to understand that you can't win. You can gather evidence, expose conspiracies, fight your way through my operatives. But I will always be 3 steps ahead. Because I know you, Giovanna. I know how you think. How you fight. How you love. Her blood runs cold. Antonio. Oh, there it is. Your weakness. Your Achilles heel. Tell me, how far would you go to save him? Don't touch him. Too late. He's been moved from Interpol custody to a black site facility. No lawyers. No visitors. No due process. He'll disappear, Giovanna. Unless you do exactly what I say. Her hands shake. What do you want? Your empire. Your territory. Your complete and unconditional surrender. You have 24 hours to transfer all assets, dissolve your operations and exile yourself from the country. Do this and Antonio lives. Refuse and I'll send you pieces of him until you comply. The line goes dead. Giovanna stands in the dark apartment, phone pressed to her chest, world crumbling. She has a choice. Save herself or save Antonio. Power or love. Everything she built or the one person who made her feel human. There is no third option. She calls Marco. I need everything you have on black site facilities within 100 miles of DC. Giovanna, what? They have Antonio. I'm getting him back. That's suicide. You can't infiltrate a federal black site. Watch me. Giovanna, listen to yourself. You're talking about assaulting a government facility. That's not organized crime. That's terrorism. They'll kill you. Then they kill me. But I'm not abandoning him. Silence. Then quietly. He betrayed you. He brought all this down on you. Why would you risk everything? Because he didn't betray me in the end. He could have cooperated, saved himself, let me burn. But he didn't. He chose me, Marco. Over his career, his freedom, his life. I owe him the same choice. This is insane. I know. Get me the information. Marco sighs. I'll have it in an hour. But Giovanna, you're going to need help. Real help. Ex-military, black site infiltration experience. You know people? I know one person. Former Delta Force, now freelance. Works off the books. Expensive as hell, but if anyone can get you into a black site and out alive, it's her. Set up the meeting. The mercenary's name is Katrina Volkov. Russian accent, cold eyes, scars that tell stories she won't share. They meet in a warehouse outside the city. You want to assault a federal black site, Katrina says flatly. Extract one prisoner. No collateral damage. And survive. Yes. Cost is $2 million. Half up front. Non-refundable. Done. Katrina raises an eyebrow. You didn't negotiate. I don't have time to negotiate. Can you do it or not? A slow smile. I like you. Yes, I can do it. But you'll follow my orders exactly. No improvisation. No heroics. You do what I say when I say it or we both die. Understood. Understood. Good. We move in 18 hours. Assemble your team. The plan is insane. Suicidal. Brilliant. Katrina's assembled a team of 4. All former special forces, all with black site experience. They study blueprints, guard rotations, surveillance patterns. The facility is buried. Literally. Underground, accessible only through a single reinforced entrance. 30 guards minimum. Automated defenses. Biometric locks. We have one advantage, Katrina says. They're not expecting an assault. Black sites rely on secrecy, not security. No one knows they exist, so no one attacks them. Until now, Giovanna says. Until now. The insertion plan is elegant. They pose as federal transport, moving a high-value prisoner. Forged credentials, stolen vehicle, perfect timing during shift change. Get inside, locate Antonio, extract before alarms trigger. 60 seconds. That's their window. Giovanna gears up, tactical vest, weapon, earpiece. She's trained for this. Her father insisted she learn combat, infiltration, survival. But training and reality are different universes. Marco pulls her aside before they leave. This is it, he says. Point of no return. You do this, you're declaring war on the federal government. There's no coming back. I know. Your empire, everything you built, it's gone. Even if you survive, you'll be hunted for the rest of your life. I know. And you're still going? She checks her weapon, voice steady. I'm still going. Marco nods. Then I'm coming with you. Marco. Don't argue. You saved me when I was nothing. Gave me purpose, family, a life. I'm not letting you do this alone. She embraces him, brief, fierce. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. We might die horribly. Probably. But at least we'll die trying. The assault is chaos. They breach the facility at 0300 hours. The forged credentials work. They're waved through the first checkpoint. Second checkpoint, biometric scan. Katrina's tech guy overrides it. They're in. Then everything goes wrong. An alarm. Automatic, triggered by a failsafe they didn't know about. Lights flash red. Blast doors start closing. Move. Katrina shouts. They run. Giovanna's heart pounds. Guards appear, trained, armed, coordinated. Gunfire erupts. One of Katrina's team goes down. Then another. Marco returns fire, covering their advance. Giovanna follows Katrina through corridors that all look identical. Her earpiece crackles. East Wing, Sublevel 3. Katrina's tech guy monitoring from outside. That's where they're holding high-value prisoners. They hit the stairs, descend into hell. More guards. More bullets. Giovanna fires, moves, doesn't think. Training takes over. Muscle memory. Survival instinct. They reach sublevel 3. A corridor of cells. Reinforced doors. No windows. Antonio Carrera. Giovanna shouts. Antonio. A voice muffled. Third door on the left. Giovanna. Katrina plants charges on the door lock. Everyone back. The explosion is deafening. The door buckles, swings open. Antonio stumbles out, bruised, exhausted, disbelieving. Giovanna, what the hell? Explain later. Move now. They run. Back the way they came. But reinforcements are flooding in. They're surrounded. Trapped. Katrina assesses, calculating. There's a secondary exit. Maintenance tunnel. But it's a dead end if they lock it down. Then we move fast, Marco says. They fight their way through. Giovanna stays close to Antonio, keeps him between her and Marco. He's weak, stumbling. She grabs his arm, pulls him forward. I can't believe you came for me, he gasps. Shut up and run. The maintenance tunnel is narrow, dark, reeking of chemicals. They sprint. Behind them, shouting. Footsteps. Pursuit. The exit door appears. Katrina hits it with a breaching charge. They burst through into cold night air. A van waits. Katrina's extraction team. They pile in. The van peels out as bullets shatter the rear windows. And then they're speeding through darkness, sirens wailing behind them, alive against all odds. The safe house is 40 miles outside the city. Abandoned factory off the grid. They arrive as dawn breaks. Giovanna's hands won't stop shaking. Adrenaline crash. She collapses against a wall, slides down, sits on the concrete floor. Marco checks the perimeter. Katrina's remaining team secures the exits. Antonio drops beside Giovanna, breathing hard. You saved me, he says. Don't. Giovanna. I said don't. Her voice cracks. I destroyed everything. My empire, my reputation, my future. I assaulted a federal facility. I'm a domestic terrorist now. All for you. So don't thank me. Just, don't. He's quiet for a moment. Then, I love you. She laughs bitterly. Love. That's what got us here. If I'd never met you, if I'd just killed you that first night. But you didn't. I should have. But you didn't. Because somewhere beneath all that armor you wanted something real. Something more than power and fear. She meets his eyes. Gray storms, battered but unbroken. Was it worth it? All this destruction, all this loss. Was it worth it? Ask me in 50 years. Despite everything, she smiles. Broken. Exhausted. But genuine. Katrina enters. We have a problem. Every law enforcement agency in the country is looking for you. Your face is on the news. Domestic terrorist, federal fugitive, armed and dangerous. What about the evidence I sent Sophia? Buried. Whoever's orchestrating this has serious power. They've suppressed everything. Giovanna's last hope crumbles. So what now? Now you disappear. I have contacts, false identities, safe countries. You and Antonio can live, but not here. Not as yourselves. Antonio looks at Giovanna. What do you want to do? What does she want? 24 hours ago she ruled an empire. Now she's got nothing. No home, no power, no identity. Just a man she barely trusts and a future full of running. I want, she says slowly, to finish this. Properly. Giovanna. Whoever's behind this, they took everything from me. My empire, my reputation, my life. I won't spend the rest of my existence hiding. I want them exposed. I want justice. Justice or revenge? Antonio asks quietly. Is there a difference? The next 48 hours are a blur. Giovanna, Antonio, Marco and Katrina become ghosts. Moving safe house to safe house. Gathering information. Following the money trail that Marco's been pursuing. The breakthrough comes from an unexpected source. Sofia Delgado. She contacts Giovanna through encrypted channels. I got your evidence. It's legitimate. But I can't move on it through official channels. Too many people compromised. Who's behind this? Giovanna demands. Someone inside the intelligence community. High level. They've been using organized crime as a front for illegal operations. Weapons deals, trafficking, everything your father was involved in. When you took over and started legitimizing operations, you became a threat. So they framed you, used Mancini's vendetta as cover. Give me a name. Deputy Director James Morrison. CIA. 20 years in intelligence, untouchable reputation. And completely corrupt. Giovanna's blood runs cold. Not just mafia politics. Not just rival criminals. The United States government. How do we stop him? You can't. He's protected by layers of classification and plausible deniability. Even with your father's records, even with everything Antonio gathered, it's not enough. Morrison can bury it all. Then what do we do? Sophia pauses. We go public. Full media exposure. Leak everything simultaneously. Evidence, testimonies, documentation. Morrison can suppress official channels, but he can't suppress the entire internet. He'll deny everything. Discredit us. Probably. But public pressure is different from legal pressure. If enough people see the truth, even Morrison can't survive. Antonio leans forward. That makes us permanent targets. Morrison will never stop hunting us. I know, Sophia says. But it's the only play that doesn't end with you dead or imprisoned forever. Giovanna looks at Antonio, then Marco, then Katrina. Her makeshift family. Her impossible alliance. Do it, she says. Release everything. The information bomb drops at midnight. Simultaneously across 24 platforms. News sites, social media, WikiLeaks, encrypted channels. Everything. Her father's records. Morrison's corruption. The conspiracy to frame her. Antonio's buried investigation. Mancini's involvement. Within an hour it's trending worldwide. Within 3 hours mainstream media picks it up. By dawn there are calls for congressional investigations. Morrison issues a statement. Denies everything, calls it a terrorist disinformation campaign. But the evidence is too solid. Too detailed. Too damning. By the end of the week, Morrison's under investigation. Mancini's original conviction gets scrutinized. Giovanna's federal indictments are suspended pending review. She watches it unfold from a safe house in Canada, Antonio beside her, knowing this isn't victory. It's survival. Barely. Her phone rings. Unknown number. She debates answering, then does. Miss Ricci. A voice she recognizes, distorted, electronic. The puppet master. Impressive. You've actually managed to hurt us. Not destroy us. But hurt us. I'm almost proud. Who are you? Someone you'll never find. Someone who's been playing this game longer than you've been alive. Morrison was one asset. We have dozens. You've won this round, Giovanna. But the war? The war is eternal. I'll keep fighting. I know. That's what makes you interesting. Most people would take this opportunity to disappear. Start over. But not you. You're too stubborn. Too proud. Damn right. A laugh. I look forward to our next encounter. Which I promise you is inevitable. The line goes dead. Giovanna sets down the phone, hands steady now. She's not afraid. Not anymore. Fear is for people with something to lose. She's already lost everything. All that's left is the fight. 6 months later. A small coastal town in Portugal. New names, new faces, quiet life. Giovanna, now Isabella Costa, runs a small cafe. Antonio, now Marco Silva, teaches English at the local school. They live in a cottage overlooking the ocean. Simple. Anonymous. Safe. But safety is an illusion. Giovanna knows this. Every unfamiliar face is a potential threat. Every unexpected phone call could be the end. She sits on their balcony watching the sunset, Antonio reading beside her. Marco's nearby, he refused to stay behind, followed them to Portugal, sworn to protect her till the end. Katrina visits occasionally, brings news from the world they left behind. Morrison was indicted. Sentenced to life without parole. Mancini died in prison. Officially a heart attack, unofficially a message. The intelligence conspiracy is being slowly unraveled, though most players remain hidden. Giovanna's name was cleared. Technically she could return. Reclaim her empire. But the empire is ashes. Her former territories carved up by rivals. Her allies scattered or dead. There's nothing left to reclaim. Regrets. Antonio asks, not looking up from his book. She considers. Honest answer? Every day. About me. About everything. About nothing. About the impossibility of knowing if I made the right choices. Would you do it differently? She looks at him, gray eyes, familiar and strange, the man who destroyed and saved her in equal measure. I don't know. Would you? Not a single thing. He wants to believe him. Wants to believe love was worth the cost. But belief is harder than it used to be. The puppet master, she says. The voice on the phone. They're still out there. I know. They'll come for us eventually. Probably. You're not afraid? He sets down his book, takes her hand. Terrified. Every single day. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You've said that before. Still true. They sit in silence watching the ocean. Somewhere out there enemies plot. Former allies scheme. The world continues its violent rotation. But here now there's peace. Fragile. Temporary. But real. That night Giovanna dreams. Her father appears younger than she remembers. There in his old office, leather and mahogany, power preserved in amber. You gave it all up, he says. Not accusatory. Just observing. I did. For what? That's weakness. Maybe. Or maybe it's the only thing that matters. He shakes his head. I taught you better than this. Power is the only thing that lasts. Love is leverage. You know this. I thought I did. She meets his eyes, her eyes cold and calculating. But you died alone, Papa. Surrounded by people who feared you, respected you, obeyed you. But no one loved you. And in the end, what did all that power give you? A bullet and an unmarked grave. I built an empire. You built a cage. And you trapped yourself inside it. And you built nothing. You're nobody. You matter to no one. I matter to him. She thinks of Antonio asleep in their bed. And he matters to me. That's something. Maybe not an empire. But it's real. Her father fades. You'll regret this. I already do. But I'd regret the alternative more. She wakes to Antonio's arms around her, his breathing steady and calm. Outside, the ocean whispers secrets to the shore. Regret and peace. They coexist, uncomfortable companions. Morning brings visitors. Marco enters the cafe, face grave. We have a problem. Giovanna's heart sinks. She knew this peace couldn't last. What kind? Katrina made contact. Someone's asking questions about Isabella Costa. Someone with resources. Professional inquiries. Could be nothing. Could be the beginning of the end. She looks around the cafe. Her customers. Fishermen, retirees, tourists. People who trust her like her know nothing about who she really is. We need to leave, she says. Today. Now. Antonio appears from the back room, reads the situation instantly. How long do we have? Hours maybe. Maybe less. Marco's already moving, grabbing their go bags. They've rehearsed this. Planned for it. Hoped they'd never need it. Giovanna writes a note for her employees. Apologizes. Leaves cash to cover wages. Then they slip out the back into a waiting car, ghosts once again. The next months are a blur. Barcelona. Budapest. Bangkok. Always moving, never settling. Giovanna loses count of the aliases, the safe houses, the close calls. They're exhausted. Not physically, though that too. But emotionally. The constant vigilance. The inability to trust. The knowledge that one mistake ends everything. One night, in a hotel room in Berlin, Antonio breaks. I can't do this anymore, he says. Giovanna looks up from her laptop. Can't do what? This. Running. Hiding. Thought I could. I thought love was enough. But Giovanna, we're not living. We're just surviving. And barely. She closes the laptop. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe we made a mistake. Maybe I should have stayed in that cell. Maybe you should have let me rot. Because at least then you'd have a life. This is my life. You're my life. Am I? Or am I your prison? The words hit like bullets. Because there's truth there. Uncomfortable, undeniable truth. You want to leave, she says flatly. I want us to stop running. I want us to actually live. But I don't know how to do that with targets on our backs. So what? We surrender? Let them win. Maybe winning isn't survival. Maybe it's knowing when to stop fighting. She stands, anger flaring. You're talking about giving up. After everything we've sacrificed. I'm talking about accepting reality. We can't run forever, Giovanna. Eventually they'll find us. And when they do, we'll die in some foreign city, alone and forgotten. Is that what you want? I want you to stop being a coward. The silence that follows is deafening. Antonio's face hardens. I've been shot at, imprisoned, hunted and exiled. All for you. Don't you dare call me a coward. She regrets it immediately. Antonio. No. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I am a coward. Because I actually want a future that isn't running and hiding. I want mornings without checking for threats. I want to use my real name. I want a life. With me. He hesitates. That hesitation breaks something in her. I don't know, he admits. I love you, Giovanna. God help me, I love you. But love isn't enough when it's destroying us both. She can't breathe. Can't think. Get out. What? Get out. Leave. If you want to quit, then quit. I won't stop you. Giovanna. I said get out. He stares at her. Then grabs his jacket and walks out, door slamming behind him. Giovanna stands alone in the hotel room, chest heaving, tears streaming down her face. Everything she feared. Abandonment. Betrayal. Loss. But this time she drove him away herself. Marco finds her an hour later, still standing by the door. He's gone, Marco says gently. I know. Want me to find him? No. He made his choice. Did he? Or did you make it for him? She whirls on him. What's that supposed to mean? It means you pushed him away because you're terrified. Terrified of losing him, so you lost him first. Control the narrative. Control the pain. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? Marco's voice is firm. I've watched you my entire adult life, Giovanna. You're brilliant, ruthless, unstoppable. But you sabotage anything good because you don't think you deserve it. I don't deserve it. Look what I've done. The people I've killed. The lives I've destroyed. And Antonio? What about what he's done? He's not innocent either. But he's trying. He's fighting for something better. And you're too scared to fight with him. I'm not scared. Liar. The word lands. She collapses onto the bed, exhausted. What do I do, Marco? You go find him. You apologize. You tell him the truth, that you're terrified and broken and you don't know how to do this. And you ask him to help you figure it out. What if it's too late? Then at least you tried. She finds Antonio on the Oberbaumbrück Bridge, staring at the Spree River. Berlin at night, neon and shadows, beautiful and lonely. She approaches slowly. He doesn't turn, but his shoulders tense. He knows she's there. I'm sorry, she says. For what? For calling you a coward. For pushing you away. For being so damaged that I destroy everything I touch. He's quiet. Then, you don't destroy everything. I destroyed us. We destroyed us. Together. It's not just you, Giovanna. I'm scared too. Scared that we're doomed. Scared that love isn't enough. Scared that we'll die for nothing. She stands beside him, both facing the water. What if it is enough? What? Love. What if it's not about being perfect or safe or having all the answers? What if it's just about choosing each other, every day even when it's hard? That sounds exhausting. It is. But maybe it's worth it. He finally looks at her. Gray storms, uncertain and hopeful. You really believe that? I don't know. But I want to try. If you'll let me. Silence. The river flows beneath them, indifferent to their drama. Then Antonio takes her hand. One condition. Anything. We stop running. Not from them. From each other. No more pushing away. No more sabotage. We figure this out together or not at all. Deal. They kiss, tentative at first, then deeper. A promise. A commitment. A terrifying leap of faith. The next morning they make a decision. Stop running. Stop hiding. Face the consequences. Sofia Delgado arranges a meeting. Neutral territory. Government representatives, Interpol, CIA oversight. A chance to negotiate. Giovanna and Antonio walk into that room knowing they might not walk out. The government's position is clear. Testimony against the remaining conspirators in exchange for immunity. Witness protection. New identities. Permanent exile from organized crime. And if we refuse? Giovanna asks. Then you're fugitives. Hunted. Eventually captured or killed. She looks at Antonio. He squeezes her hand. We accept, she says. With conditions. You're not exactly in a position to negotiate. Aren't I? You need us. Need our testimony to close your cases. So yes, we're in a position to negotiate. The lead prosecutor, a woman named Diane Chin, leans back. What do you want? Marco gets immunity too. He was following my orders. And Katrina Volkov, she gets a clean slate. She saved our lives. Done. What else? We testify. We cooperate. But after that you leave us alone. Completely. No surveillance. No check-ins. No leash. We disappear and you let us. Diane considers. You understand that means no access to your former assets. No contact with your former organization. You become civilians. Permanently. I understand. And you're willing to accept that? Giovanna thinks about her empire. Her power. Everything she built on blood and fear. Then she thinks about Antonio beside her, Marco's loyalty, Katrina's friendship. The possibility of a life that isn't warfare. Yes, she says. I'm willing. The trials take months. Giovanna testifies against Morrison's network. Names. Provides evidence. Watches as conspiracies unravel and powerful people fall. Antonio does the same. His testimony about Interpol corruption leads to reforms. Investigations. Change. They're vilified in some circles. Praised in others. Mostly they're exhausted. When it's finally over, they sign the final papers. Receive new identities. Elizabeth and James Morrison. The irony isn't lost on them, taking the name of the man who tried to destroy them. Marco chooses Michael Torres. Katrina keeps her own name, she's already a ghost. They scatter. Marco to Australia. Katrina to parts unknown. Giovanna and Antonio to New Zealand. Remote, beautiful, far from everything they've known. 2 years later. A small town on New Zealand's South Island. Mountains. Lakes. Peace. Elizabeth Morrison, formerly Giovanna Ricci, owns a bookshop. James Morrison, formerly Antonio Carrera, works as a carpenter. They live in a cottage with a garden, 2 rescue dogs, and routines that would bore their former selves to tears. And they're happy. Not perfectly. Not without ghosts. But genuinely, surprisingly happy. Giovanna wakes one morning to find Antonio already up, making coffee. She wraps her arms around him from behind. Morning, she murmurs. Morning. Sleep okay? Nightmares. About. The warehouse. Giulio. The choices I made. He turns, holds her. They're just dreams. Are they? Or are they reminders of who I was? Who you were. Not who you are. She wants to believe him. Most days she does. But some mornings she looks in the mirror and sees the Mafia Queen staring back. Cold. Calculating. Capable of terrible things. Do you ever regret it? She asks. Giving up everything for this? Every single day. He smiles. And I'd do it again. Why? Because before you I was just existing. Playing a role. Pretending to be someone I wasn't. But with you, even at our worst, I was real. I was alive. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You keep saying that. Still true. They laugh. And in that laughter is everything. Trauma and healing, regret and hope, the impossibility of redemption and the necessity of trying anyway. That afternoon Marco calls. It's rare. They agreed to minimal contact for security, but he sounds urgent. Turn on the news, he says. Giovanna does. International headlines. The puppet master found. A massive intelligence network exposed. Arrests across 3 continents. The voice from the phone calls. The shadow orchestrating everything. Finally identified. Former CIA Director Harold Buchanan. 80 years old. Retired 20 years. Still pulling strings. Still destroying lives. He's been arrested. Evidence overwhelming. Giovanna's testimony, combined with Antonio's investigation and Morrison's cooperation, finally connected enough dots. The network is collapsing. We did it, Marco says. It's over. Giovanna watches the news. Buchanan's face, grandfatherly, benign, hiding decades of corruption. It's never over, she says quietly. There's always another puppet master. Another conspiracy. Another war. Maybe. But this war? Our war? It's done. He wants to believe him. Wants to believe they can truly be free. But freedom, like peace, is something you earn daily. It's not a destination. It's a practice. Thanks for calling, Marco. Anytime. Say hi to Antonio. Will do. Stay safe. You too. He hangs up. Antonio's watching her. Buchanan's arrested, she says. I heard. How do you feel? She considers. Empty. I thought I'd feel vindicated. Triumphant. But I just feel tired. That's because revenge doesn't heal. It just transfers the pain. When did you get so wise? Suffering. It's very educational. They sit together on their porch watching the mountains. Somewhere out there trials will happen. Justice will be attempted. The world will keep spinning. But here now there's stillness. The dogs chase each other in the yard. Birds sing. The air smells like pine and possibility. What do we do now? Giovanna asks. Now. Antonio smiles. We live. Free life. Not for revenge or survival or redemption. Just because we can. You make it sound simple. It is simple. Not easy. But simple. She leans against him. I love you, you know. I know. I love you too. Even after everything? Especially after everything. 5 years later. The bookshop is thriving. Small but beloved. Giovanna hosts reading groups, orders rare editions, knows her customers by name. She's become part of the community, respected, liked, normal. Antonio's carpentry business is steady. He builds furniture, restores antiques, teaches woodworking classes. He's good with his hands, patient with students, content with simplicity. They have a daughter now. 3 years old. Dark hair like Giovanna's. Gray eyes like Antonio's. Her name is Sofia, after Sofia Delgado, the woman who helped save them. Sofia doesn't know about mafia empires or federal conspiracies. She knows bedtime stories and playground adventures and parents who love her fiercely. One evening, Giovanna tucks Sofia into bed. Reads her favorite book. Kisses her forehead. Mama? Sofia asks sleepily. Tell me a story. A real one. What kind of real story? About you. When you were brave. Giovanna's throat tightens. How do you explain your past to your child? How do you reconcile who you were with who you're trying to be? Once, she says carefully, there was a queen who ruled a kingdom. She was very powerful. Very feared. But also very lonely. Why was she lonely? Because she thought power meant being alone. Being strong meant never needing anyone. That's sad. It is. But then she met someone. Someone who saw past her crown. Who wasn't afraid of her. Who loved her even when she didn't know how to love herself. Did they live happily ever after? Giovanna smiles. They lived. And that was enough. Sofia yawns. I like that story. Me too, baby. Me too. Later, Giovanna joins Antonio in their bedroom. He's reading, always reading. She climbs into bed beside him. Sofia asked for a story about when I was brave, she says. What did you tell her? A simplified version. The queen who learned to love. Accurate if incomplete. I'll tell her the rest when she's older. If she needs to know. And if she doesn't? Then maybe that means we actually succeeded. Built a life so separate from the past that it doesn't define her. Antonio sets down his book. Do you miss it? The power, the control, the empire. She's asked herself this question 1,000 times. The honest answer is complicated. Sometimes, she admits. I miss the certainty. The clarity of purpose. Knowing exactly who I was and what I wanted. And now I'm nobody. A bookshop owner. A mother. A woman with a past she can't share and a future she's building from scratch. That sounds lonely. It is. But it's also freedom. I get to choose who I become instead of being defined by what I was. And who are you becoming? He thinks about this. About the woman who ordered executions and the woman who reads bedtime stories. About the Mafia Queen and the mother. About Giovanna Ricci and Elizabeth Morrison. I don't know yet, she says honestly. But I'm okay with that. For the first time in my life, I'm okay with not having all the answers. Antonio kisses her. I'm proud of you. For what? For trying. For choosing this. For not giving up even when it would be easier. You make it sound noble. I'm just surviving. Surviving is noble. Especially for people like us. They lie together in the dark, listening to Sophia's soft breathing through the baby monitor. Outside, the world continues its violent rotation. But here in this small cottage in New Zealand there's peace. Imperfect. Hard-won. Precious. Giovanna sometimes wonders about the puppet master. About Harold Buchanan dying in federal prison. About Salvatore Mancini already dead. About all the people who tried to destroy her and failed. She wonders if they think about her. If they regret their choices. If they understand that they didn't break her, they just forced her to evolve. But mostly she doesn't think about them at all. She thinks about Sophia's laughter. Antonio's steady presence. Marco's occasional emails from Australia. Katrina's rare but treasured visits. She thinks about the bookshop's new shipment. The reading group's next selection. The garden that needs weeding. Ordinary things. Mundane things. Beautiful things. The life she never knew she wanted until she lost everything else. And on quiet nights when the ghosts come calling, when she remembers the warehouse, the gunshots, the blood on marble, she doesn't run from them. She acknowledges them. Accepts them. Integrates them. They're part of her story. But they're not the whole story. The whole story includes redemption. Forgiveness. Love. The possibility of becoming something better than what you were. It's not a fairy tale. There's no happily ever after. Just happiness, earned daily, defended fiercely, cherished deeply. And for Giovanna Ricci, Elizabeth Morrison, Mafia Queen turned mother, criminal turned civilian, power turned peace. That's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. The end. Was it love that saved her, or was she always capable of saving herself? Can someone who's caused so much pain ever truly deserve happiness? Is redemption possible, or just a story we tell ourselves to sleep at night? If you could erase your past to secure your future, would you, even if that past made you who you are? Can power and love coexist, or does one always destroy the other? And the most dangerous question of all, if given the choice again, empire or love, power or peace, which would you choose?